A massive Call of Duty leak hit Reddit yesterday, August 9th, which included an entire cache of official documents and hundreds of screenshots, which ultimately revealed what possibly could have been the coolest approach to a narrative campaign in the history of the series. Call of Duty Black Ops 4 infamously launched back in 2018 without a story-based campaign mode. It was the first in the series to do so and continues to be an outlier as the franchise has continued to grow. At the time, Polygon's Chris Plant reported that according to sources familiar with the game's development, that a single player mode was in the works, but then cut because it wouldn't be completed in time. A month later, in an interview with Polygon, Treyarch's co-studio head Dan Bunting refuted the idea, basically saying that the studio had always planned to focus primarily on multiplayer. Now, if that name sounds familiar, it's because it keeps coming up in light of the Activision harassment scandals. Specifically, Dan Bunting resigned from Treyarch last year after a Wall Street Journal investigation discovered that Bunting was accused of rape by a coworker in 2017. HR had recommended termination at the time, but allegedly, Bobby Kotick stepped in personally to keep Bunting on staff and running Treyarch. The reason I'm pointing this out is because Bunting's statements from the past are kind of a weird half-truth, if not an outright lie. Back in 2018, in regards to Black Ops 4's single-player story campaign, Bunting specifically said, "When we set out to make this game, we never started with the idea that we would make a traditional campaign," adding, "That was just not part of our plan. We started from a place that we were gonna make a game that across the board can be playable with friends. That's been our mission from day one." Those statements on their own are basically true, but paired with the rest of the interview, they're kind of misleading. Bunting goes into how popular Call of Duty multiplayer had to become over the years, more or less trying to make it seem like removing developer resources away from single player was a natural conclusion. Which totally makes sense, but that doesn't mean there wasn't a campaign mode planned and then cut from the game. In 2019, Jason Schreier, who was working for Kotaku at the time, did an expose on the awful working conditions and crunch culture surrounding Black Ops 4, and he was told that there actually was a story mode which was meant to be a 2v2 co-op type experience that could be played single player with bots. However, according to the Kotaku piece, there were technical concerns, timing issues, and according to one person who was there, negative feedback from playtesters who felt like the gameplay was too repetitive. Treyarch then tried to pivot, turning what they had into a more traditional story-driven campaign, but with so little time left, the feat proved to be impossible, and the mode was cut entirely. Outside of the details provided in the Kotaku article, not much was known about Call of Duty Black Ops 4's campaign mode, or just how far Treyarch actually got with it. Well, at least until now. Yesterday, Reddit user PurpleToaster20 posted to r/gaming leaks and rumors over 2,600 words outlining the mode, complete with links to over 400 images, including maps, screenshots, and multiple HUD elements. The top of the post reads, "This is a long-ass post. It is the result of months of research and discussion with people who have inside knowledge of this mode. I will have a 30-ish minute video that can easily digest this post and better put external areas in depth, releasing August 18th. There is a link at the bottom of the post which will take you to a YouTube channel called The Closet Indian, where you will find thorough deep dives and video essays about other popular games, some of which have less than 100 views, but after scrubbing through a few times, I just want to add there appears to be a real elevated level of work going into these. From research to scripting and delivery, along with 30 to 40 minutes of video editing with each of these, it really is a lot. So I think you can expect, if this video does manage to come out on August 18th and it doesn't get obliterated by Activision's lawyers or DMCA'd to death, then you could probably expect a pretty thorough breakdown of the canceled mode from Black Ops 4. To summarize from the Reddit post though, Black Ops 4's original campaign was called Career, and it was scoped to be a 2v2 race to the finish. The goal was to create a cooperative live service type game that would create a singular narrative universe with the hopes of engaging players who usually ignored the campaign in past Call of Duty games. In addition, your actions during the game would have genuine consequences, with missions having dynamic changes depending on which 2v2 pair fails or succeeds. The story was set to take place in 2070 after the events of Black Ops 3 and feature a conflict between two playable factions, the Free People's Army, FPA, and the World United Nations, WUN. According to the leak, depending on your chosen faction, your gameplay experience would be completely different, with the missions, gameplay, story, and characters being from the perspective of whichever faction you aligned with, essentially providing players with two campaigns. one from each perspective of the opposite faction. Each mission was supposed to be 15 to 20 minutes long, with 6 missions in total, and it looks like at least 4 of those missions were nearly completed before the mode was canned. The post goes into incredible detail for the premise of each of those 4 missions, including images of maps and how each could change depending on the results of the previous mission. For example, in the mission called Air Assault Convoy, one faction would defend a convoy with turrets and vehicle-mounted weaponry, while the other would attack with various air vehicles. There's also reference to another mission featuring a key character called the Journalist, who at one point must be extracted by one faction while another tries to assassinate them. Missions would also be designed with co-op set pieces that would then flow into 2v2 conflicts where both teams would have chances to slow each other down. Apparently, career mode would also include the ability to interact with it in a kind of stripped down playlist with custom parameters. There were also plans for DLC and zombies integration, but as we know now, it never came to be. However, it sounds like some of what was built for career mode was repurposed for Black Ops 4's zombies custom mutations. Overall, this leak is huge. It's probably one of the bigger ones of this nature that we've seen in quite a long while, especially as it pertains to a specific game and its design and development process. Not to mention the sheer amount of content that was removed here. You don't see that every day, especially not with a larger title like Call of Duty. So it's certainly interesting to look at all this stuff and read about it. It will be really interesting to see what happens with that summary video that's supposed to come out on August 18th. And as for the original Reddit post, some of the links in there have already been DMCA'd, so take away from that what you will. All right, that's going to do it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments if this canceled Call of Duty Black Ops 4 career mode sounds like something you would have been interested in playing. Honestly, I'm not even that big of a Call of Duty fan, and I would have been really interested to play this and check it out at the very least. So definitely share your thoughts in the comments. Thanks again for watching, and for more video game news and updates, please stay tuned right here to Inside Gaming.